Let's record. Okay, so to begin, if you want to introduce yourself and discuss more about like how you came to the Communist Party of Swaziland.
Okay, that's not.
Yeah, you can get started.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Greetings. I'm Gavin Duguya, a member of the Communist Party of Swaziland, and I am an SRC member at the University of Swaziland, currently serving as the SRC chairperson, the student government of the institution. Basically, today I'd love to share with you the situation in my country, the situation, the youth and the students, to be specific, that are currently, the problems that they are currently facing, such that they end up deciding to take their lives. They end up committing suicide. Basically what is happening right now, there is a whole lot of political unrest due to the monarchy, the current ruling class, the regime. It is so much oppressive in a manner that it oppresses the young to the old. The youth, they are deprived scholarships. We all know that Swaziland is a very country that is affected by poverty. So a lot of students are coming from poverty-stricken backgrounds, only to find that when they get to tertiary, they don't even get sponsors. They don't even get scholarships from government. A very few percentage of the students get scholarship. And when they finally do, given the very little percentage that is able to get the sponsorship, they have challenges in getting their personal allowances, let alone that the personal allowance only covers accommodation of all the needs that you need as a student in tertiary institution coming from a poverty-stricken background. So it gets that much hard, and whenever students are trying to voice out their grievances, to voice out their concerns, what normally happens is that we just see an army just reinforcing the university and then attacking students only for voicing out their grievances, voicing out their concerns. You find that as semester begins, or maybe let's say an academic year, and then students will have to learn for like 4 to 5 months without getting their personal allowances. They have to rent, they have to eat, they have to buy stationery for learning, but then the government will then decide to pay maybe the allowances after 5 months. When the allowances finally come, they find students with that. Some, they are even the oldest in their families. They have to take care of their families, of their parents, unemployed parents back at home. So you find that the challenges, financial stress gets piling and piling up, and then the student will just say, no, let me just take my life and just rest. So that is the current situation you are currently facing. It is a big crisis, the fact that no matter how much you can try pursuing your degree, maybe for that 4 or 5 years, you are still going to stay another 15 years at home unemployed. It's just a qualified teacher, a qualified engineer. You are seated at home. There are no job opportunities. There are not even business opportunities. Our government doesn't even support the youth. If you are business oriented, if you are business minded, there is no hope for you until you get maybe external hope, of which the government itself deprives us of even external help from other places in so many ways. You'll find that you apply maybe to go outside the country. The government will tell you, no, you can go to government offices to apply for a startup capital. You just apply and you'll never get it. So that is the painful and sad situation in our country right now. We currently, in this academic year, we lost about 5 students through suicide, and all of them, it's monetary problems. And then 2 recent one who committed suicide last week. The other one, it was because of an examination. What happened this year is government delayed our allowances. So most of the time we're not in class, the students were outside the streets striking. Whenever we decided to strike, the university would just send us home and then maybe come for another 2 days and they will say, we cannot learn without books. We still haven't received our book allowances. How are we supposed to learn? We still even haven't received accommodation or personal living allowances. How are we supposed to learn? And then we just send us home though. Bring the army inside the campus, chase us, and then we go home. When we came back home, I think in April, they told us we are supposed to sit for an examination. We've only covered, I think, if I may be precise, maybe 20% of the whole content that we need. And then now they're telling us to sit for an examination. We've only learned for 3 weeks out of 12 weeks that we're supposed to learn. So now students say, no, we can't be sitting for an examination. We don't even qualify, no matter how much I study, the content that I have, even if I can grasp all of it, well, there is no way I can pass because it doesn't even make 50% of the required content on the examinations. But the university decided to forcefully channel the students, drive the students straight into examinations. So on last week, Monday, on the 4th was the first day of the examinations. So the students now went there knowing nothing. And after the exam paper, I just complained straight that I am failing. The university has introduced a new strategy now that if you fail the module, you are going to pay for yourself the following year. So now, after thinking, after deep thoughts, the students figure it out. I'm from a poverty-stricken background. Now my parents are expecting a lot from me. They're expecting me to graduate. Now I'm going to fail this course. So it was too much for him. He couldn't bear it. So he just decided to take his life. And it was a sad situation for the whole of the youth of Swaziland and the student union. And to us as the SRC, the student leaders, it was a very painful because it is government, it is the university that has brought us into this situation. And if we don't get any help with this government, we are still going to see more and more suicide cases. We are still going to lose more of our brothers and sisters. So
No, it's really terrible, and it's a direct casualty from the monarchy. It's continuing its oppression. So how involved in activism and in resistance movements would you say most Swazi youth or Swazi students are?
To be honest, the Swazi youth is mostly involved in politics. Now they are capacitated, now they are conscious, now they understand the direct and root cause of all the problems. Unlike before, they would think maybe it's just the Minister of Finance, maybe it's the Minister of Labor who can be giving out their allowances. But now they've come to understand that the main problem here is the ruling class of this country. And they are doing all they can every day. They are fighting, and we can see the domination of political parties in the student body, which is something that is good. We are seeing that students they are capacitated politically. So, but then now the challenge is how they can do it. The strategies to now. They've identified the root cause, but then how to deal with it is the main problem, because we have the problem of intimidation, victimization by the state forces. Just 2 weeks back, the student houses were raided by the state security office. They took their laptops. Right now, they don't even have the gadgets to study because the security forces, they took their gadgets to study. So we have a crisis that students are getting intimidated. They are victimized. They are brutalized by the state each and every day. So they end up getting intimidated. So they are now in fear of raising their concerns and fighting for their rights. Otherwise, they are active, but most of them, they are living in fear of the security, the state security officers.
And how involved do you think a lot of students have become in the Communist Party, especially?
The Communist Party, the vanguard, of the workers and the poor, of course. We can say the Communist Party hosting sunset rallies in every community, so almost every Friday in the country. That on itself is doing good. We see Communist Party members, they are involved in student politics in the SRC, and I myself, I'm a member of the Communist Party. We can see the impact of the communists in the society, in the youth society, such that the youth themselves they've gained trust on the communists. They know that each challenge we have, the how part will be answered by the communists. Right. So we are seeing the communists, they are building the ground, and the ground is getting fertile each and every day. And we appreciate the work of the Vanguard.
Fantastic. Yeah. And I know that the uprising last year was motivated by the killing of a student as well. Can you talk a little bit more about what happened? I know that the police said that they didn't do it, but the students accused the police of murdering him.
Okay. One I would like to enlighten about is that students made the accusation of police being involved in the killing of our brother because we have had experience before of them shooting students. I think in March they shot two students who were coming from the refectory to get their food. They just shot two of those students. Even today they have bullets in them. They cannot get help because of financial issues. So now when our brother died last year, it was said it was an accident. But then first of all, his car was not found. His family searched him. He hasn't come home with the car. And then now the car is not found. Then the police themselves, when it was reported to them, they issue out a statement to say, someone is lost. Help us look for Tavani. Yet his car was in the very same police station. And then it started raising suspicions that which car are you saying the nation should help you locate, because the car is right here with you. And then the car had bullet holes. If it was an accident, why then now bullet holes? What are you hiding? So there is a lot that happened with the death of Tawan. And when the students decided to do a peaceful march for that matter, to deliver to the headquarters, to say, we need answers to what happened to Tabani, because people saw on that very same night police officers chasing the car of the students. So we had reasons why we accused them of killing him, because they can't be chasing him and shooting at him in the night. The very same night he died and he disappeared. So what happened then when we tried to deliver a petition to them peacefully, so they fired tear gas at us. They fired live bullets at us. And whenever you try to raise the issue of Taban, even today, you just, you get silenced at the barrel of a gun. Even on his memorial service, we are trying to give him a last dignified send off. They got there with tear gases and guns. They shot at us. They shot at his very same mother, his relatives. So, and then now we got to the conclusion that, okay, they are guilty because they cannot talk. They are not willing to dialogue with us. Instead, they are just shutting us up at the barrel of a gun. Anything you say about Tabani till today, you just get silenced by a tear gas or a bullet. So yeah, that is when everything started, the uprising started. And then that is when we reminded of all the students that they have brutalized before, but we kept quiet. And then the uprising, the Swazis then see how oppressive this regime is.
Right. So do you think that more young people over the past year have been conscientized to the brutality of the regime and have sort of woken up about the need for revolution in Swaziland?
A lot of young people. We've got a lot who confess that before they didn't see the problem, before they just didn't care. But the current situation now, they are able to see the regime is a problem. We just need a total dismantling. We just need to overthrow so that we can have a better life. Because as I was saying, there are no allowances, there are no scholarships. So even parents, the elderly, they've started seeing that no, this regime is a problem, because they cannot, even the elderly cannot even get their grants on time. They get 500 emalangeni, which cannot even cover grocery of their house after 3 months. So now they've been able to identify after the last national political unrest to say, oh, the monarchy is actually the problem. And we give thanks to all progressive movement and of course the Communist Party for conscientizing the masses, of capacitating the masses, of making them see actually the main problem being the regime.
Right. What do you think the role of the youth is going to be in a future democratic socialist Swaziland after the monarchy?
Okay, that one is interesting. I always say the duty of the youth actually is there even now. We are in transition. I believe we are very near to a democratic Republic Swaziland. So now the duty of the youth themselves is to get involved in the running of state affairs. Then they themselves, they've gotten to identify the problems that the regime has introduced to them. So now they are the better individuals and better candidates to be involved in even the drafting of the constitution of the new Swaziland, to say we cannot exploit students this way. This is how we are going to run things in universities, in higher institution of education. So they should be fully involved. Even now, they should start dialoguing amongst themselves how they are going to govern themselves. Because right now we are fighting for them to govern themselves. We want the people to govern themselves. So then now it is the duty of the youth to start showing now if they're going to be able to govern themselves in the democratic Swaziland that we are fighting for, because we don't want to overthrow the monarchy now, and then we get to the democratic Swaziland, we get confused what to do now. So it is the duty of the youth to start now in dialoguing to them themselves, and then dialoguing to the whole communities, that if we want to govern ourselves, this is how we should behave. This is how we should be disciplined. This is how we should run all state affairs. So they should be even involved in all running of state affairs, in the drafting of the constitution of the new Swaziland and all that. So they have their work, and of course the work to build a fertile ground for the next incoming leadership after monarchy.
And last question, just personally, what does it mean to you, the prospect of for you as a young person in particular, of the possibility of the future, and having lived your whole life under this oppressive system, and the possibility that there is a different future possible for Swaziland?
First, I would say there's nothing that makes my heart warm, I can say, than knowing that the time for monarchy is almost over. There is nothing that warms my heart other than knowing we are near to freedom. We're going to attain democracy and then socialism. There is nothing that warms my heart other than knowing my very own kids will not live the life I lived in tertiary. They will not go through the difficulties I went through in tertiary. So I personally am fighting impatiently actually fighting to attain democracy, because I cannot wait to see a new refreshing democratic Swaziland where the people's views shall be heard, where the working class shall not be exploited as they are now, where the capitalists will stop exploiting our people. Our young people will have jobs, our students will have scholarship, our workers will detect their own terms, dictatorship of the proletariat. So the future that is coming is a bright future that we are waiting for, a bright future that we as Swazis and the youth, we are hungry for, we are waiting for it. That is why we are pushing every day, we are fighting every day without rest, despite the intimidations, despite the victimization and brutalization that we go through each day. But we are fighting because we know that our people shall be free, and the revolution is here. Comrade Che Guevara says, the revolution is not like an apple that when it is ripe, it will just fall. So we have to, the revolution is here. It is in our hands. We just have to grasp it and totally overthrow the monarchy.
Fantastic. I do just have one final thing as well. I wonder how you as a student take the more like abstract and complicated concepts of revolution and Marxism and make political education possible as well. So that's something we're very interested in, is how Marxism and communism as ideologies can be distilled into the youth and sort of educate them. So how much success have you found with the political education programs of conscientizing young people, but students as well, and potentially waking them up through this education, through reading, through university study group, stuff like that?
No, okay. We've as a party gone to as far as, I didn't mention the issue of sunset rallies, but it was more of a fortune for me to be even elected as the SRC chairperson of one of the biggest institutions, actually the biggest institution in the country. That is when I got even the chance to be more influential, to introduce the people that I lead, the people who have so much trust in me, and the Marxist Leninist way of doing things. So now we have study units in every campus. We have study groups 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturday. And me being a leader of the students, so whenever I say we have a study unit, anything that comes with me, automatically the students will lead, and that is when we get the students' attention, to actually contextualize them, to actually capacitate them, because we are building a ground where we want to see not only activists on the ground, but we want to have people who are capacitated, people who have political content. We don't want only ground forces. We don't want people who only fight in the streets only. We want people with political content, because we are going to a democratic Swaziland, a new Swaziland. We want to build a government. We want people with the Marxist ideology. We want people who will understand what do we mean when we say we are the vanguard of the working class. So it's not only about striking and running in the streets. We are doing that, of course. We want to end the oppression. We are sending a strong message to the king, to the monarchy, to the whole system of governance in the country. But then at the same time, we need to conscientize our people. We need to feed them with the right ideology, which is the Marxist and Leninist ideology.
Right, absolutely. And that's definitely effective for training the cadres who will be a part of the struggle as young people.
True.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to mention as part of the struggle of the youth in Swaziland?
There won't be much. There won't be much, but then there is a lot. There is a lot that the youth of Swaziland is facing: the issue of drug abuse, the issue of of hooliganism.
Yeah.
It is a serious issue, more especially in the urban poor communities, where you find the young school dropouts. They don't have anything to do.
Right.
They don't have any businesses to start. They don't even have anyone,
Yeah.
at least to give attention to them, to let them start something. They don't even have support groups, so they then resort to drugs.
Right.
The issue of drug abuse is very high in our world. The issue of hooliganism. You'll find young kids at the age of 12 to 14, at the night, they are moving around, they are planning who to rob, where to rob today. And it's a very sad situation when you find them as our jails, our prisons, they are full of youth, not only because they are hooligans by nature, but the system have tunneled them to do so. The system has left them no choice, because they cannot give education to them. They cannot give better chances of starting businesses. They cannot employ them. Then the only chance left now is becoming a thug and abusing drugs. So it's a very sad situation, but we believe we are there. We are just there. The revolution, we are waging the revolution. Revolution means total change, that everything shall come to an end. Our people will no longer be oppressed.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciated speaking with you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of
Thank you
course.
so much for having me.